All right, mic and audio check out there, folks. Can you hear me? Welcome back to Clown World. Mic check, 1, 2. February 28th, 2023. This is Crypto Clown World. And I am your host with the honks, Jason Bruce. We're ready to get it honking for the monthly close here. I hope you're all ready to go. I'm going to start it off with the S&P futures. And it's not all that pretty. Just not allowed to have some music, folks. It's not okay. The overlords have said no, and they will control our lives. Totally kidding. Sound quality is just not going to be all that great. All right, so I'm going to jump into the S&P futures here on the 1 hour. I was looking at a little bit of a diamond pattern, but this looks to be breaking down right now. I'd like to see this double bottom here around this 39.50 area and this purple line of support along with the, I believe this is the 200 daily moving average. This confluence here, we did get the bounce off of that, and I was hoping to see continuation out of this diamond pattern, but that is not happening right now. And realistically, a measured move breakdown of that would break the resistance line. So we do need to watch for that. However, point of control up here on the VRVP says that we do move up on the 1 hour time frame. So that's a positive sign. We just need to see where the bleeding is going to stop. Once again, I'd like to double bottom here. I think we do have a decent chance to do that. This momentum seems to be waning a little bit, but we were denied at this micro point of control here. So we do have to watch the S&P futures. Let's take a look at what the monthly close looks like for the S&P. If we can indeed see it all with all my chicken scratch here. Maybe we don't have the open for that on the futures yet. Let's check the SPX. No, that's probably not moving. We'll check the monthly for Bitcoin. And that'll keep us in the groove here. Check the all-time history index. All right, so wow, that just looks really odd. All right, so when we look at the monthly for Bitcoin, it actually closed with bearish indecision. which is super interesting. With this closing with bearish indecision, it doesn't necessarily mean that this is bearish for the downside for March. If anything, this could just represent consolidation, just strictly moving sideways off this up move. And it's quite possible that we can make a move off of that. The one thing that I will say that is definitely in our favor right now for that happening, actually there's multiple things, so we'll break that down. But what really jumps out at me, first of all, is this stochastics RSI on the monthly. This has made a bullish cross, okay? So it is in the neutral territory with the blue above the red and the red above the neutral territory as well. So this indicates a position of strength for the market here, because the sellers didn't know what they were doing for the last month. And it also shows that they weren't able to push this price down into this area, or, you know, significantly push back against this bullish engulfing candle that we printed. So this could easily just be sideways action. We'll see if we can see anything like that in Bitcoin's history, where we saw a really sideways candle like that print. You can see one right here in this up move. Now you could say that we've already established an up move here. Right now it's not as strong as this one was. But when you look at this candle here with this weak selling, you know, there's just not a lot of push down on this bullish engulfing. And it allowed us to create another bullish engulfing after a small dip below this area. So let's move back a little further. Those aren't really great examples there. Okay, so with that in mind, we can kind of say that the candle that we're seeing this month is a bit of an anomaly, because we haven't really printed a candle like that before. It's really something to keep an eye on, and we'll have to get down into some smaller time frames to actually figure out what's really going to start playing out over the next few days and weeks. But what I would like to also point out here, let me try and clean this up a little bit. That'll help. So we did break out of this wedge, and this wedge brought the price above that crucial EMA 7. So price continued to close above that EMA 7 as we consolidated with this weak selling over the last month. And we can see here we're above the 99, but we're below the 25 EMA and the middle Bollinger Band. We're also below this 200 weekly moving average and above the 200 daily. All right, so we did see a cross on the monthly a while back, actually just before the FTX dump, where we saw the 200 daily cross below the 200 weekly. And that may have facilitated that dump. So now we have renegotiated the 200 daily, and we're looking to renegotiate the 200 weekly with this price action. This represents consolidation underneath that moving average. And if we are able to break out of the 200 weekly, then you've got the 25 up here at around 27.6, and the middle Bollinger Band around 32 to 33. Okay, we definitely can make a strong move in that direction. The question is, how much do we consolidate before we make that move? You can see consolidation is showing here on the RSI, where it's just been flat over the last couple months, consolidating under this 50 level. So it's telling us that we need another push up in order to break this 50 level. And if we break above that, I would expect to be challenging this area in here above the 200 weekly and somewhere in between this 25 EMA and the middle Bollinger Band. So I do want to change up the candlesticks real quick. Just want to see if it's showing us anything different on like the Heikin Ashi. Okay, you can see the Heikin Ashi flip bullish here, back on the 1st of this year. And that hasn't changed as we've opened up another candle here. Okay. So this usually is an indicator of macro performance. As you can see here, when it flips green, it stays green, flips red, stays red, flips green, stays green, flips red, stays red. And now we flip green here. Can we build on this? I believe we can. As you see, the Heikin Ashi is also showing price action above this 7 EMA. All right, so that's something to take a look at there. And I also want to take a look at the line break. And the line break's still showing a clean break here. I'm going to zoom in on the weekly. And the line break is not giving us any red signals yet. Okay, so you can see here when there was some indecision, we did get one red signal during this climb up from about, what was it, 28, 29K. It doesn't show the wicks, so keep that in mind, all the way up to 69. So I would say right now, oh wait, we are printing a red candle on the line break on the weekly. So let's keep an eye on that. Let's keep an eye on that. Hopefully that's not just an anomaly. But we do have the stochastics RSI in our favor on the weekly, so I would expect some follow through on that. And we are printing a green candle on the Heikin Ashi, so that's not all bad. Not all bad. Let's try and zoom in a little bit, see what the daily close is telling us in relation to what we just had in terms of the monthly close. And we also had a 3-day close. Now that I think about it, let's take a quick look at that. This is different on the index. We had a 3-day close on Tether on Binance. Let's take a look at that real quick. Keep in mind, you're not going to see the same closes on the same exchanges or the same indexes. So that full-time price index for Bitcoin doesn't correspond to the US dollar Tether close on Binance. Maybe my phone was giving me some false information earlier. Does not look like we have a 3-day close today. I apologize on that one. Let's flip over to the daily. That's going to give us some crucial information. And we can actually see right now, this daily close is trying to flip bullish. So that would be great for Bitcoin if we could flip bullish here on this close. This shows a pretty significant line of support here. So when we've been flipping that to the next candle, it's been bouncing. What worries me is the stochastics RSI is firmly in this oversold territory with the blue on the bottom and the red on the top. RSI, however, is still holding at 50 level, which shows relative strength. So that's a good sign. Let's drill down a little bit more here. And I'm not drinking an alcoholic beverage, by the way, folks. That was kombucha. This is kombucha. I love this stuff. It's great. It's only 4 grams of sugar. It's really good. So, this isn't horrible. This is just displaying that we're in a volatile zone right now because we really are trying to negotiate some larger levels on larger time frames. So when we move in on the 4 hour, that's also printing a similar bullish candle. We're also negotiating this point of control here. If we move up above that, 22 or 23.2, we can start to see some momentum come in. All the EMAs are above us. Kind of tight with the middle Bollinger Band there. It's not all bad, folks. That's not all bad. Let's see what the 30-minute close is looking like. We just ticked off a 30-minute candle, and this actually looks pretty bullish. Yeah, I have no complaints about what I'm seeing here because we're trying to overtake this 7 EMA right now. That can flip the 25, the middle Bollinger Band, and then the 99. Once that's complete, you have this point of control here at 23.4. And once you negotiate that, you're looking at negotiating the downtrend line of this sort of a slightly falling wedge, which I believe does have a bullish bias at this point. So this to me actually looks pretty good. And if we take a measured move on this pattern, it's taking us up to a critical area, which is 24,595, 24,6 area, okay? If you'll look at Fibonacci here, that would take us around that 706 to 786 area, would be above the golden pocket. So that would represent a pretty strong move on a first impulse. You could even look at that as a wave 3 if this is wave 1, second wave down, wave 3 up. At that point, you could see consolidation here down to the 0.5, around 24, and then you could see this fifth wave move us up above the 200 weekly, up above this resistance here at the top of the pattern at this 25.50 area, and most likely would take us up a little closer to these areas around 25.9 to 26.1. So that's what I'd like to see for Bitcoin. The hourly is trying to reset as well. Not really seeing anything in the way of hidden bullish divergence, however. So I'm not complaining about what I'm seeing here in terms of Bitcoin. You could try to say, okay, you could try to make the case, and this is rapidly at a point where it would invalidate itself, and really is it valid at all? Is this some type of a shoulder, a head, and a shoulder? But you don't have a clearly defined neckline here, other than like this area right here, which really still isn't very clearly defined, right? So, do we play around in this pattern, potentially fall further in this wedge, create more of a double bottom scenario with this wick, where maybe we come down to this level and test this sort of a reversal level here around 22.9. I'm going to try to remain open-minded as far as these scenarios go, but keep in mind price action is bouncing right now. It's negotiating a point of control on the 1 hour with low stochastics, and RSI holding support here with in correspondence to the higher lows here. So we did have this bullish divergence here that did play out. We saw consolidation. Now we're trying to move up again from that. So maybe we even get a bit of a W pattern here. All right, this could W out. This is like an elongated W, right? So if we get that W, Too many lines, folks. Too many lines. If we get that W, that's going to take us right up to this area around the 200 weekly, which has just been a battle zone. You know, we battled that for an entire week before we failed. Then consolidating here, you know, for almost another 2 weeks. So with that in mind, this is nice consolidation, okay? And now you printed like a higher low on this 1 hour, and you can work off of that. That'll help build on structure and momentum in this pattern. So let's watch that. I'm going to move over to Ethereum. And our Ethereum trade really hasn't played out yet. In fact, would have been stopped out. And just barely, too. Just barely. So we're looking at ETH BTC in this rising wedge. It is bouncing off the bottom of that pattern right now. These rising wedges do have a bearish bias, however. So if you look at that bearish bias, you know, it could bring us down to this volume node here. We'll work a little higher in that pattern. So we'll take a look at this as a potential breakdown point for ETH BTC if that does happen. But we could also look at this as sort of a complex head and shoulders. All right. So if we look at it like so, that could bust to the upside. And that would take us up above the 200 daily, which we were rejected by here. Excuse me. And that would take us up above the 0.5 fib. You know, this would be curving down at this point. So maybe we get a little retest on the 0.5 fib there. This actually looks good for ETH BTC. So we'll keep this inverse head and shoulders on the radar. Yeah, that's not all bad for ETH BTC. So I'm going to move over to XRP. XRP sort of making this little consolidation pattern here. It was kind of making a megaphone or a falling broadening wedge for a moment. You could maybe call it a falling broadening wedge since you did technically have 3 touches. All right, so now we're seeing higher lows. And, you know, I would look at this line here and try and make sure that holds support on the 1 hour. So we are seeing consolidation right now for XRP. Let's see what our monthly close looked like for XRP. See if we can gather anything positive from this. Oh man, look what XRP's been doing here on the monthly. Just banging between this range here, 32 to 40-ish cents. And this wasn't bearish engulfing, but it did fight back against this large green candle, which wasn't really technically bullish engulfing against this one. What this does show us, though, is rejection from the 200 daily. And we lost this POC here. So we're fighting this POC on the monthly. This is an extremely important level for XRP. Just below 49 cents at around 39.77. Okay. 39.34, let's call it, somewhere in there. That's a huge level. So if XRP closes a significant candle, say a daily candle above 40 cents, I would look for a larger move. Let's look at what the daily's doing for us right now. And you can, it shows us that we haven't been able to close a daily above, you know, 37.84 for a while. And we haven't closed above 40 since this rejection here, and we just barely did. So that's the key level for me for XRP is 40 cents. Above 40 cents, it's probably going to skyrocket. This high volume node is important here as well at 38.84 cents. So XRP, I'd say it's looking good, except for the stochastics RSI is kind of looking like BTC on the daily. It's not really showing us that it's holding a lot of strength. So that's a point of concern. We need to get a strong bounce on the 1 hour and 4 hour time frames. I'm going to shift over to Matic. Matic looks like it's putting in a double bottom here. This could be a decent area to see a bounce. Price action dropped down to this support level here at $1.18. That's well below the 786 fib. So it kind of dipped into this volume node here. And this point of control at, let's say, $1.24. It's going to be extremely important for Matic. So it still looks like falling broadening wedge. This is easily still considered consolidation right here. Say maybe you got a little bit of a falling wedge forming now. Okay, so let's watch this pattern here for Matic. I think there is likelihood that we get a short-term bounce. The question is, does it have enough momentum once we get above this point of control here? It's around 127.50. Does that give you enough momentum to make the move that you're looking for? So there's a couple points of control when you zoom in and out on the VRVP here on the 1 hour on Matic. You got this one at 124. And then when you zoom in just a little bit, it moves up to 127.34. So let's say 124 to 127.50 is going to be consolidation range for Matic. Or breakout levels, I should say. Consolidation range right now is in between about $1.18 and $1.30. So above 127 and above 130, this thing will pick up steam. It'll challenge this downtrend line in the falling broadening wedge. And at that point, we could see a larger move. The question is, will it change the trend or does it turn into a failed bounce? I'd also like to see price action get back above the lower line of this parallel channel where we were denied here on this, what looks like a bearish retest. Hopefully this consolidation plays out. And now that I look at it, this actually is printing a nice hidden bullish divergence on the RSI, where you see this swing down on the RSI, swing down in price action is higher than this lower swing in price action and this higher swing in the RSI. So that is hidden bullish divergence for Matic on the 1 hour time frame. Let's take a look at the total market cap here. This could be a little cleaner chart for us to look at. So where did we close the monthly for the total crypto market cap, folks? This is big. All right, this is big. It's big because we closed above $1 trillion. All right, they tried to wick us down last month. Okay, they tried to wick us down, but we closed above. We closed above. So this is critical levels. We may continue to see consolidation there, but keep in mind, you know, these levels here are way up here. 25 EMA at 117, 118 trillion. Middle Bollinger Band at 148 trillion. What if you were to see another, you know, 33% move for Bitcoin from, say, 23K, you know, that's going to move you up pretty close to 30. It's going to move you up pretty close to 30. So, I don't know, some of this stuff is a little confusing. It's, as this stuff moves, those labels stay in the same spot, and it can get a little confusing. So, with that in mind, you know, we got this cross on the daily and the weekly here, where we saw this cross down, and you know, we got this move down, and then we got this nice big back move, this nice move back up above the 200 daily, and then above the 200 weekly. Okay, so we're above both. We closed above both. And Stochastics RSI is trying to build strength here. It did not, however, close in this area of strength as Bitcoin did. So, pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. But all in all, this also shows breakout and retest on this downtrend line. That's something to look at. This line kind of isn't where I'd like to see it, though. Really, it should be more up there. So maybe we didn't get breakout and retest on that yet. Maybe we're looking for that in this month's price action. Which this just shows great consolidation here, even though we had this big move up. The RSI just stayed flat. And when we look at the weekly here, definitely seen some moves down. So this doesn't look bullish to me on the weekly. If we lose the weekly, that's going to be tough, and we've been overbought for a while. This is just tight right here. Stochastics is not giving us an indication on the weekly, you know, other than we're overbought, you know, which could dump at any time, right? But the concerning thing is the middle Bollinger Band all the way down here at like 899 trillion. That would be a 10% dump for Bitcoin. And that would take us down pretty close back to 20K. And there's also this 200 daily moving average, which we did get retest on here on the weekly. So we did retest that. We get retest on the or this was the 200 daily, excuse me. If we get retests on the 200 weekly, that'd be around 986 billion. But realistically, we showed retest on that there, and another retest there. I'd like to say this is consolidation this week. But the daily candle isn't moving up right now. And Bitcoin is kind of failing us. So we want to hold this area for BTC. I don't want to see it below 23K. I don't want to close a 4-hour candle below 23K. That could definitely indicate further downside. Even just where we closed the monthly, unfortunately, which I was hoping to see us above like 23.8, 23.9, just didn't get the push today. Could still indicate that there is some more downside. All right. Want to see the 1 hour hold this zone as well. It just doesn't look all that pretty. I have to be completely honest here. Let's take a look at what the altcoins are telling us. Let's include Ethereum in the party. Stochastics RSI on the daily is moving into this oversold territory. RSI is just below 50 level, indicating weakness. There is this consolidation and higher low below the middle Bollinger Band. So that's not all bad. But the problem is all this confluence down here that makes me think price action is going to want to gravitate towards it and maybe retest this downtrend line again. You got 90 EMA, lower Bollinger Band, 200 daily, 200 weekly. You know, and these are potentially looking to cross again. On the daily, you know, do we get a, is that considered a death cross on the daily where you've got the 200 daily crossing down of the 200 weekly? Or is that considered a golden cross since the weekly would carry the daily? I was trying to look into that and didn't really get the information on that I was hoping for. Let's dump this crypto, says Ryan. Let's dump this crypto. Yeah, we might get a little dumpsy-do. We might get a little bit. Let's see what the altcoins say. Put ETH on the sidelines. Altcoins are still in this sort of flag on the RSI. See where we close the monthly. Close the monthly right at this point of control, right at that high volume node. Not all bad. Technically, this candle closed above it from last month. This sort of looks like a bullish pin bar. Is that correct? No. Yeah, if anything, that's a little indecisive or weak on the part of the buyers because it does show this higher wick to the upside. The month did close above the 200 daily and the 200 weekly, however, which isn't all bad. And we do have this blue line above the red line on Stochastics RSI, so that's not all bad either. We're trying to negotiate this 7 EMA. So if we can see just even a tiny pump for the altcoins, could get that party started. It just doesn't tell us everything right now. But, you know, really, do the sellers have the power to push all the way below this wick and down to these moving averages? You know, and how much longer before these cross? We kind of... try to, you know, maybe just guesstimate. And that's real rough, right? Might be another 8 or 9 days before we figure out what this is doing. So there's this point of control as well. Could still see some downwards action from the altcoins. But we also could technically create this sort of a W. Alright? That's totally possible. And if we see that happen, it's going to move us up above significant levels here for the altcoins. So let's keep an eye on this. Do we get this W pattern breakout? Is that a realistic scenario? Let's see if we can look at a few other clues here on the 4 hour that may tell us why that may or may not be realistic. So these moving averages are kind of all in confluence right now. They're pretty tight. The 7 is below the 25. The 25 is below the 99. So the 7 is below the middle Bollinger Band as well. We did get these closes below the lower Bollinger Band back here, which created this momentum to the downside in this wick. I really question if the sellers have the momentum to push below this wick right now. If they did, I would look for a price to gravitate to these moving averages. On the larger time frames, you know, 200 daily and 200 weekly. Let's see if the 1 hour is giving us a clue as to what the buyers and sellers are doing. I'm going to keep that W pattern there because I think it does have a potential to play out. You can see we had hidden bullish divergence here. That played out. Now we've got this consolidation. Let's jump into a smaller time frame here. This 12-minute looks like it wants to dump. Six-minute is trying to bounce, though. So let's watch like the 6 and the 12 right now. You can use the 5 and the 15 too, or the 7 and the 15. I would watch these smaller time frames to see where we're getting a bounce. You know, for both altcoins and Bitcoin. It looks like Bitcoin's trying to get a bounce too. Yeah, this 7 minutes trying to bounce. 7 minute has hidden bullish divergence as well. Swing down on the RSI. a higher low, and swing down on price action with a lower low, and now this pretty bullish looking candle coming in. So this is a hidden bullish divergence on this smaller time frame. Let's see if it carries over to some others. Yeah, it's not going to show up on the 12 yet. So I would keep an eye on the 7 right now. And the 7's going to give you the sauce. I'll just connect those points there. And if you get break above that, you know, then you can challenge this POC, which is at around 23.4. So 23.4, I think, is the critical level for the next, let's say 12 hours. 23.4. So if we're not above 23.4, say by the open in the morning on the 12-hour candle, that's going to indicate some weakness. And I'd really like to see us close, you know, the daily above that tomorrow, and that'll help us build some momentum. So that's what I'm seeing. BTC and larger markets. Let's see. Shiba Inu says, I hit my limit of 0 fee Bitcoin buy in app already. I harvested more shekels to put inside. Very nice. Very nice. So, dumpage right now, good chance it's over for BTC. Good chance it's over. Got a couple more touches on this falling wedge. And we do look to be getting a bounce. And if we get above this little downtrend resistance line here, we'll challenge this POC and the top of this formation, which the measured move on that, I did go over that, will be around 24,595, 24,6 area. Let's call it 24,6. Okay. So that's the bang, bang, bang right there. I did want to look at Dogecoin real quick too, because Dogecoin can act as a bit of an oscillator. It can front run the market a little bit. Doge looking pretty similar on this 6 minute to what the total 3 did. So that's a good sign. If we move out to the 7, does it give us hidden bullish? It did here. It did here, okay? So this was hidden bullish divergence here that's actually in process of playing out. This is in process of playing out. And I would say, you know, you're going to move something like this for Dogecoin where it's going to move above that point of control. So there could be moves coming for Dogecoin here if Bitcoin cooperates. We just have to see how these smaller time frames are moving. But right now we do have this bullish divergence on the 7. This hidden bullish divergence, I should say. You can see clearly here this low corresponding on the RSI to a much lower low in price action and a higher low on the RSI. So with the moving averages pretty tight here, this can flip pretty quickly. You know, just above 8.1 cents. You're likely to flip this point of control at just below 8.2. So short-term Dogecoin looks like it wants to move. If we move out, let's just look at the daily close actually. This daily close for Doge, this is kind of telling me that the sellers are petering out here. We had lower low wick up there. We did get a green candle and then another wick down. Lower wick there, higher wick here. So we've got this higher wick, higher low. That could indicate the sellers are getting exhausted here. And you've got pretty much flat action on the RSI, which is slight hidden bullish right now because you've got this close on this red candle just a little bit higher than the close or the open or the current area, actually I should say, on this new red candle. Maybe Litecoin halvening will excite the doges. I think it comes soon. Litecoin halvening is actually done. Litecoin halvening has come and gone. Litecoin halvening, I believe, is a year in advance, roughly, of the Bitcoin halvening. Let's see. Shibino says, I'm feeling is not going lower. Also, feeling only, but could be too good to be true to get it at 10K. Yeah, 10K I think is too good to be true, guys. I think that's going to be too good to be true, and I think the people that are waiting for that are going to be really frustrated, and they'll be the ones that FOMO in at 30K. Okay, so let's take a look at Litecoin. Litecoin did just have its halvening event, and that could spur price action into the Bitcoin halvening. Litecoin actually looks bullish here on the daily. This looks much more bullish than Bitcoin. I would look at Litecoin right now. That's something to think about. Yep. And I could see it on the daily, and as I zoom in here, I see it as well. You do have this potential pattern. It's brewing here with this shoulder, head, and shoulder. Inverse shoulder, head, and shoulder. And that could take a move for Litecoin. That's great confluence with this 200 weekly. Yeah, that's likely to gravitate to the 200 weekly. It's likely to gravitate to the 200 weekly above this next volume node. It's actually broken above this point of control on the 4 hour after some consolidation. You know, higher lows being printed with consolidation at the middle Bollinger Band. Just want this 70 MA to flip the 99. And that's going to give you the momentum to try and negotiate this upper Bollinger Band. There was this sort of a rising wedge, I think, that Litecoin was making. And it looks like it's sort of, you know, triple topped here. And now we're seeing more consolidation. I just like the price action of the candles and the confluence with the moving averages, the point of control, and the 200 daily and the 200 weekly. Okay, so well above the 200 daily, which indicates bullishness. You're below this 200 weekly, which is an area that you can gravitate towards. And you know, if Litecoin gravitates towards this 200 weekly, Bitcoin's likely to do the same. It's actually pretty exciting. Thanks for putting Litecoin on the radar, because I don't always look at Litecoin these days, and that actually does show us there's a potential for the market to make moves here. So I would watch Litecoin just above $100, around 102. And if that level, you know, flips to support, then you have a chance to make a higher high just above, you know, 105, 106 area. So good stuff for Litecoin. I think they will all blame Richard Hart. Yeah, I don't know why he gets so much flack, man. He's got his own coin, his own network, right? You know, he just says stuff that's kind of controversial, so it's not necessarily things that people agree with. I don't hold any Hex. Let's take a quick look at Hex and see if Hex is doing anything interesting. Hex is trying to push up a little bit on the 4 hour. It just doesn't show a whole lot of volume here. This is also a low volume exchange on Poloniex. Hex actually quite volatile. This thing's made pretty good moves recently since it bottomed around 1.5 cents. And it's currently sitting at 6.5 cents with a high around 7. So this actually looks really bullish for Hex if you're into that sort of thing. in that sort of a rising pattern though. So this may come down, test this point of control, and create a little bit of a cup and handle. Hex could make much larger moves here. Oh, sheesh, yeah. This is breakout and retest. That's breakout and retest, guys. I would look for Hex to skyrocket, to be honest. I think it's a project that fundamentally is something that could definitely make people money. Should have been getting in around here, though, when people were really, really scared towards the end of the year last year. Doesn't mean it can't go higher, you know. Still get an easy, you know, half on the double here if it gravitates up to the golden pocket or the 706. You know, you could double your money pretty quickly. But it's not like the greatest entry point because you've already built 3 green daily candles. And you already built this bottom structure here. So, you know, realistically, this could even be wave 1, wave 3, and potential wave 5. That's a little sketch, but stochastics RSI's in your favor right now on the daily. I'll say that. You know, you can get an entry on Hex right now and probably make some money off of it. Question is how much, you know, you're willing to gamble and where you're willing to take profit and all of that. If this thing moves up, say, past 35 cents, you're looking at price discovery and, you know, potentially a lot more gains. So Hex could do something. Let's see. You know what I want to take a look at? I want to take a look at Flux. Flux BTC. Been watching this for a while now. This consolidation. I really think this can make the move. You know, this can make the big move right here. So it's really all in this symmetrical triangle, and then we've had kind of breakout, hard retest at the bottom of the pattern, wick back up, and now consolidating again. Let's remove that. We don't need that anymore. That played out. You got like a cup and a handle here as well. Kind of maybe a mystery level to keep an eye on. So that looks pretty good. Let me see if there's anything that's tipping us off on the monthly. So the monthly did have an interesting formation. I think this monthly is going to close bullish for Flux. You had this long wick down, shorter candle body. And you've got the moving averages here are pretty tight. It's the ones that it's showing you anyway on the monthly, as it is still pretty young. Those are tight, and it's trying to flip green, actually above this downtrending resistance line. So I like the monthly for Flux BTC. That could actually be a real nice sign. I'll take a look versus Tether here as well. And this printed above the 7 EMA on the monthly close, and it looks to be trying to flip bullish after this kind of an indecisive selling candle last month. You know, that's an absolute doji. You got even wicks to upside and downside. Let's see what the daily's looking like for Flux. I think Flux is likely to do things here. And if we look at this, you know, where this is the neckline, right? This downtrending line. You may even have something like this, or you could call this a shoulder. head, and a shoulder. Okay. And if that's the case, that's going to be very bullish. That's going to create a new high for Flux around $1.16. Okay, so point of control here around 94 cents. This looks great for Flux. Honestly, looks fantastic. I would say as long as you get a daily candle to close above about 83 cents, 83.5 cents, this is going to bang. I really like the way this is looking and consolidating right now for Flux on the daily. Flux is my hidden gem, folks. If you're not holding some Flux, it really does have potential as a smaller cap along with KDA. I want to check KDA here as well. This is one that I actually need to enter on. This is still kind of consolidating. You maybe call this even a little bit more of a cup and a handle. I do like this though. It's still in this flag on the RSI on the daily. You know, when you see these red candles here, this is something that I want you to keep in mind. Okay? When you see these types of formations, and you'll see this again, okay? Where you see this wick down, you got a longer wick on this candle body, some consolidation, and then you get a move down, and you get this candle that's pretty much flat at the bottom, all right? Almost no wick or no wick, right? And then you get maybe a little tail on the next candle, and then you're going to start to build on that. And this closes, all right, above this wick and above a previous high, or above a previous low, excuse me. This is bullish price action because, first of all, it's dictating a higher low. Second of all, it's dictating the sellers came down here and hit a wall. All right. So it may be that the sellers are exhausted trying to negotiate this area here where we saw these wicks. But it really all depends on what's going to happen on the lower time frames. Okay. So it looks like Bitcoin's still cooperating. KDA's is being a little funky right now. The price action on this one is not the easiest to trade on some of the smaller time frames. Can definitely get a little choppy. But this shows a little bit of hidden bullish divergence right now. And I would say some likelihood to gravitate up to this 200 daily moving average. This project, I think it's got potential to really bang. Maybe even more than Flux. So maybe I can think about moving some of my Flux over to KDA. I need to start getting into mining Flux so I can get the KDA rewards. I need to get the money together for a server to do that, though. I mean, I could do it on my laptop, but I don't know exactly if that's even going to be all that profitable. I'll have the hash power to get anything done. So that's KDA. Any other alts? Questions, comments, gripes, concerns, guys? Been running a little over an hour here, and I would like to get dinner in, so unless anybody has anything that they'd like to go over, I just want to see Bitcoin hold 23K. Even 22.5 isn't going to kill us, but I really would like to hold 23K and build off of that. And that would show us that we're able to build momentum on the monthly. So that monthly candle is still holding red, And there, it just flipped green right as I flipped over. Let's just flip this thing green, man. It's battling. It's definitely battling. They're definitely battling it out. But the one thing that I would say that's showing me that the Bears are going to lose this battle is this Stochastics RSI. Okay. And this Stochastics RSI gaining strength in relation to this RSI being so flat and showing us this kind of nice consolidation here. This really, really does lend to more likelihood of uptrend. Let's take a look at the 20-minute close right now. Something I'm just going to touch on real quick while I've got you two guys on the stream, because I know that you do have a little more propensity to listen to the technical side of stuff. You just want to scroll through your closes as the time frames move throughout the day. So we got the daily close at about an hour and 20 minutes ago, right? Depending on where you're at, it's 6 p.m. my time when we had the daily close, 6 Central. So when you see that, it's a larger time frame, and it's definitely a data point. You want to make sure that you're taking a look at that candle. But as you progress off that candle, you can take a look at other data points as well. So, corresponding to that daily, you want to take a look at the 4-hour close, because that also has power. But then as you progress, an hour or an hour and 30 minutes in, take a look at those smaller time frames. 7 o'clock rolled around. We took a look at that hourly. Saw where we were negotiating the price action there. And now we just hit 721. So I flipped over the 20-minute chart. And this is showing us that we're printing some green off of this wick down here on this red candle. And we're just trying to take back this 7 EMA. And we're below the middle Bollinger Band, below the 25 EMA, below the 99 EMA. And below this point of control as well, which is at 23,393. Or 23.4. Yeah, 23.4. So, Stochastics RSI isn't exactly looking all that great on the 20. And we just had this 7-minute close here. So when we take a look at that 7-minute close, because it closed on the 21, right? Closed on the 21 minutes, so this 7 minutes is closed on the 21. They're trying to push down. I don't think they're going to succeed. I think the sellers are weakening here. So just keep in mind, you have this correspondence to, different closes as these time frames roll on. You could even fire down to the 2-minute, because we just had a 2-minute close a little while ago. And the stochastics are trying to roll over on you, but it's trying to wick up. Okay? Let your time frames work for you, because it really will make a huge difference for you. So let's see what this prints here on the 2-minute. So it looks like it's going to print us like a little pin bar or something, but the RSI is telling me this should flip red. Stochastics RSI, I should say. So let's just see what this candle prints when we flip over to 724. Okay, so we just printed that. And if we take a look here, short body, long wick, longer wick to the downside, short selling body, indicates weakness by the sellers in most situations. Okay, so you can see we're trying to print a little green, and that green just engulfed that red. So if we play off of that, you can go to, say, a 6-minute time frame, because we just opened a 6-minute candle on this 24 minutes. Okay, so this 6-minute candle opened up above this 7 EMA, and it's trying to push above this point of control here. So if this 6-minute candle negotiates this 25 EMA and creates some bullishness, we could see a little more of a move up to this upper Bollinger Band and the 99 EMA, which is around 23,250. So let your closes work for you. And we just hit 725. We can zoom back in just a little bit to this 5-minute candle. And this 5-minute candle kind of closed with indecisive buying. And maybe we're getting rejected at the 50 level on the RSI. Let's see where we move on the RSI on the 5-minute. Okay? So just keep moving in and out of these smaller time frames as the time progresses through the larger ones, right? And it'll help give you a little better idea of where the price action is gravitating towards. All right? I hope that helped. Shiba Inu says I might rebalance some stuff. Keep in mind, and let me just say this real quick, and I haven't said any of this stuff throughout the stream. I was really in a hurry to jump on, and I was just kind of focused to jump into the close and the coins here. First of all, if you haven't, guys, please jump back out, smash the like button for me. Subscribe if you haven't, hit the bell for notifications. On top of that, completely lost my train of thought here. Little brain cramp. All right, so the other thing being, nothing that I say or do on this channel should be taken or construed as financial advice. And you can see here now that we're trying to pump through on the 5-minute. Okay? Trying to pump through on the 5-minute. So just use your time frames. Your time frames are your friend. Even if you move down to this 1 minute, we just opened this 1 minute candle at 27, and it's showing that we opened a 1 minute bullish engulfing candle. Okay? So let's see if this bounces off this point of control and off these extremely tight moving averages here on the 1 minute. And maybe it just consolidates here for just a minute and it just sits here. If it just sits there and just closes this area, your next 1 minute candle is going to bounce up. Okay. You got oversold stochastics trying to flip back into this neutral territory. So let's watch what this little 1 minute candle does. It'll create a little wick for us. There, it's trying to wick a little bit. And that closed below the point of control. It's a little spicy. And here come the bulls. And there go the bears. Is it the bulls? Is it the bears? I think it's the bulls. So again, use your time frames. Extremely important. It's one of the most important things that you can learn how to do is to move in and out of these time frames so that you can get an idea of price action, you know, when you're zoomed all the way in and how that corresponds to the higher time levels. And you can use math to help you do that as well. So we're about to get a 30-minute close. And 30 minutes trying to move bullish because we do have a hidden bullish divergence. Okay? Always look for that hidden bullish divergence. And keep in mind it corresponds to the closes on these candles, not the wicks. Closes of the candle bodies, not the wicks. So you see here, close on this candle body corresponds to this swing down on the RSI. And we have a slightly higher swing on the RSI here corresponding to a slightly lower candle body. All right. So So that should be bullish momentum that shows up for us. And you can see here this 30-minute stochastics RSI just flipped into this position of strength in the neutral territory with the blue on top and the red on the bottom. RSI is now curving up, and we've got this nice green candle coming in. So that is how you read the smaller time frames, folks. That's how you read the smaller time frames. I hope that helps. I hope that helps break that stuff down for you guys, because it's really, really crucial to help get you entries on scalp trades. You know, you can find these double bottoms. It's a clear double bottom with a wick down and a little higher wick. That corresponds to this hidden bullish divergence with the candle bodies. And then bang, bang, bang. Saw that play out above the 7 EMA, and it's going to gravitate to this 25 EMA, middle Bollinger Band, 99 EMA, and top Bollinger Band, as well as point of control. Okay, so those are your areas to watch short term for Bitcoin on the 30-minute chart. 25 EMA around 23,263, middle Bollinger Band just above it at 23,276, 99 EMA coming in 23,345, point of control on your 30-minute at 23,400, and your upper Bollinger Band sitting here just above this support line at around 23,570. Those are critical levels for the next 12 hours, guys. Critical. Critical, critical, critical. All right. So that was a little bit of lesson time. It's dinner time for me, guys. And that's going to be about it here for me on Crypto Clown World. I thank you, Ryan, and thank you, Sheba. Thank you guys for chilling with me on the live stream here. I always appreciate that. I appreciate you guys supporting me. You know, we've just started out, and I do intend to grow this channel, and I will make things happen this year. And going into this next bull run, we are going to grow, and we're going to succeed, and we're going to win together. So thanks everybody for tuning in. Again, like and subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications. This is Crypto Clown World, covering the monthly close for Bitcoin, which I think is trying to flip bullish here right now. So let's see what the next 24 to 48 hours bring for the intraday and intra week. And with that in mind, I'm going to get honking on out of here. Thanks so much, guys. Have a fantastic evening. Clown World out.